Hello everyone and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I wanted to talk about the important quests to do for new players in 2025. Now, regardless of if you're a new player, returning player, or you just have skipped it in general, I want to talk about a bunch of things that I made a list of, and it will help you unlock a lot of new things for your account and or give you pretty decent rewards. So first of all, let's get started with our quest tab and I'll show you what you should do. If you're a new player, I would always recommend starting out with the main story quest, which is essentially all of these things down here. And the reason why you want to do it is one, for the story experience, assuming that's why you joined this game. Two, it unlocks account progression, unlocks essentially. So for example, if you want to play through seasons on another character in the future, you have an option to start at different regions. And you have to unlock all of that first. And it also helps with like adventure journals and everything. So we'll talk about that later. The next thing I want to talk about while we're still on the topic of main story is Land of the Morning Light. Now, this one is, I would say, something you shouldn't start with, because if you start here, it's a really decent story, actually. However, in terms of progression and things you get out of it, it doesn't really give a lot of XP, and it doesn't really teach you how to play your character early on, whereas these are like a bunch of main story things that will unlock the map for you and everything. So that's something that people overlook a little bit as a new player. And it also starts out in the middle of kind of nowhere. So for example, if you start normally, you're probably starting in Western Guard Camp. This is the first place you unlock in the game, and then you unlock the map naturally. If you were to start, in other places, like down in the Mountain of Eternal Winter, it's kind of down here and it's farther away, and a lot of the enemies that you encounter are more end game, not end game, but like mid tier and not beginner friendly. And Morning Light is just out in the middle of nowhere, and there's not really too many beginner grind spots. Here, it's more just like, here, you're experiencing it for the story. So that's one thing. But either way, I don't think you can unlock it as your first character, but your second, and so going forward, you can. And then the next one, while we're on main story, is the Ulukita questline. Now, this one is, I would say, a little bit down, not in the middle, but you can still do it early on. And the reason why you should do this is because, holy, that's a lot of quests. Because it gives you this Ator's Power Stone. Now, this is a beginner-friendly stone, but doesn't require, being in a guild to get the Khan's Heart. This is something you could just solo quest for before you get any meaningful upgrades. It's just like a beginner stepping stone. And so it's actually pretty decent. It's your first permanent alchemy stone. And what other people use is like the Vel's Heart, and or let me show you, or the Khans, which is like the Ator's is the +1 AP, Khans is 2, and Vel's Heart is +3. But for a new player, it'll probably only take you a couple hours and you get a permanent stone, so I think that's okay. And yeah, so do the main story quest, you unlock a bunch of things going forward. The next thing I want to talk about is, where is it? The Abyss 1, the Magnus. Now, as we all know, the Magnus is basically the well that you see in town where you can teleport from point A to B, but it actually has a quest line, believe it or not. And it was actually pretty unique. I thought it was kind of fun. It's basically, well, without spoiling the story so you guys can experience it yourself, I'll just tell you the reward at the end is a pen armor. So if you look at this over here, like all the armors, the boss ones, the yellow tier, you essentially get a yellow tier box, right? And it gives you an armor at pen. And that's a huge stepping stone for new players because it'll save you a lot of silver. And we talked about this in another video of gear that you should get for beginners. And this like essentially saves you 15 billion silver. So that's like, I guess for, let's just take a 1 billion silver an hour. That's about 15 hours of grinding. The Magnus quest line will probably take you... It took me about 8 hours on day 1. I also did listen to the story, but I think people can speedrun it in like 5 or less these days. So, yeah, it gives you a pretty good gear upgrade, and it's something you guys want to do. Plus, I believe you have to unlock it at least once and do it if you want to unlock Magnus fully. And so, yeah, 1 free piece of pen gear, always nice. And the next thing we're going to be talking about is going into the suggested tab. Now, these are things that are more or less optional, but I think they're worth doing. So, suggested and reoccurring. The difference is reoccurring happens like weekly or, you know, some are daily, and suggested are just like permanent upgrades into your account for various things. So, number 1. The inventory expansion. You do this one. It allows you to get more inventory slots for free without spending real money. That's always nice. Pets and loyalty. You get a pet whether you think it's good or not. Having pets, regardless of the type, is always good for new players just because it helps you grind and loot better. So you kind of want to do this. And then you get more pets later on just by playing the game. Sometimes seasonal login rewards. Events in the game, so you'll get more eventually, but this is one that you can at least guarantee early on, so you want to at least start doing these. All right, so everything else is kind of like, you know, pretty optional, and Atoraxxion dungeons are always nice to do at least once if you enjoy doing PvE group content, and a lot of these are just, you know, optional stuff that I would recommend. But the important ones that I think are more important are doing some of the things into reoccurring. So if you enjoy doing dungeons, which is the 5-person co-op stuff, Atoraxxion is something you could do weekly. And basically right now there's 3 dungeons. They're coming out with the 4th one. Actually, I believe it's very soon. So yeah, there's going to be 4 dungeons in the game. And it's something you could do with your friends, guildies, other people. And actually, this is not completely off topic, but this is a comment that I got the other day because a lot of people don't actually know this exists. So if you search things, people complain that there's no party finder. It's literally here. It's only for normal, but like if you want to do on the harder difficulties, just like start meeting friends, join a guild, and then you can start doing it on hard difficulty. But like, yeah, these are 3 dungeons that we have so far. The 4th one is soon, actually, and I'll try to make a video for it so you can just join a queue, and then that's how it pops. Otherwise, what people do is there's a party finder, so you could like group finder, party finder. People have different things, and yeah, pretty easy. Good to know in case you didn't know. So, with that said, Atoraxxion dungeons are good. The Spirit Essence, especially for new players, this is very helpful. If you want to get your infinite potions, you do all the quests. Back in the day, this used to be pick 1 and do it a week. Now you can do all of them every week, and it gives you 5 pity pieces, and then 100 of them makes you infinite potions. So at very worst, you're getting 5 of them a week. But usually it takes about an hour to grind through all the things here, maybe a little bit less, and you'll probably get more stuff on the side. So chances are it's not going to take you a full like 20 weeks, probably like 5 weeks or less. But realistically, you could buy the infinite potions off the market. But if you want to say you made it yourself for, you know, the sake of saying you made it yourself, start doing these every week. And another one, Garmoth. Do this every week. As we all know, Garmoth is one of the bigger world bosses, and let me check this. Yeah, so these are kind of expensive, and they're not as bad as they used to be. Remember when there were like thousands of orders on it? That was pretty bad, and I would always recommend people to put an order on when you don't have it, and even though you may not get it for a while, the chance of you getting it is always nice. And because you're going to need multiple Garmoths, like you're going to need at least 2 of them. 4 of them if you play everything. So 1 on your Awakening Weapon, high priority. 1 on your offhand. You might need 2 if you're on your offhand if you do PvP. So PvE, PvP. And if you are a shy player, which is, you know, yeah, the Awakening Weapon is different as well. And it's something you can't tag. So you're going to need a 4th one if you play everything. But yeah, at least 2 up to 4. Start getting your Garmoths early. Start doing these every week. And even if you have them all, sell them on the market. Easy 20 bill minus tax, and someone else can get it. Next thing I'd recommend is start doing the Morning Light bosses. I guess this is a bad example because this week they're actually bugged, and so they're giving everyone the rewards. But you actually want to start doing these because once you hit the end game, what these do is they give you rewards that are like reforged stones, and then, you know, sometimes they give you, you know, nice stuff. But overall, your eventual goal is to start collecting embers, so you want to start doing these early. And let me show you. So yeah, these embers, collect 100 of them. They essentially are the equivalent of getting a Pen Black Star. So if you have 1 Pen Black Star plus 100 embers, you make a flame, and then it's essentially like having another one. Or for all of you shy players out there, you can make this thing the Primordial Glow Crystal, and it upgrades your soul to the Primordial one, which is equivalent to Sovereign, more or less. So yeah, that's good. So yeah, I'd recommend doing bosses weekly. What I do personally is I just leave a boss alt in all the 4 bosses. That way, I don't actually have to travel there because they are kind of spread out a little bit. And so yeah, all the bosses, you can look at them by where they are on the map, or you could just figure it out. But either way, something worth doing. Start doing your bosses. Garmoth is important. One other one that I would recommend is important for everyone is doing your adventure journals. Now, I will start off by saying these are kind of tedious. Not all of them are fun, but you have to do them. The reason why is you do get permanent stats for your account, and this will give you an advantage if you ever play seasonal characters, or let's say, you know, BDO comes out with a new class, which they do quite regularly. These will give you an advantage to your account, and more AP, DP, high priority stats are always nice. And if you do a lot of enhancing, permanent enhance in Valks is always, you know, nice, but not super important, but it is nice. But what you really want to do is get the AP and DP and the extra stats, and the stats are over here on your sheet. So yeah, it is actually nice to have, and you should probably do it. So adventure journals, I'll admit, they do take up a lot of your time, but if you just look up a guide somewhere, and it should tell you. I do have a guide on some of them, but they're kind of outdated and they changed, but some of them are still relevant. Some of them got just completely changed. So yeah, it's kind of hard to find a good update these days, and you can't even redo them unless you make a new account, which zero shot I'm doing. But yeah, a lot of these are pretty easy. It's look for goals, and then if you don't know how to do it, Google it. But yeah, something worth doing, very high priority. And I don't think you should rush it, but you should do it eventually and at least get all the AP and DP. And then any stats usually just come on the side, but you don't have to focus it. So with that said, I probably have more things to talk about, but I think these are the most important ones. So if you want me to do a part 2 in the future, just drop a like on the video. They'll let me know you are interested in it. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you guys come back. And my videos are usually for people who are looking to get better at this game, beginner guides and all that stuff. So hopefully my videos help you guys out. And yeah, with that said, I'll see you guys later. Peace.